Hi everyone, and welcome to my traveling yoga series class. I'm really excited about this one because I'm in Joshua Tree. This is my first time here, and it's just been beautiful and gorgeous, and we're having the best time. So I'm looking to have a grounded practice today, and this is going to be a 45-minute power flow. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll get started in a child's pose. Take your time getting there. Your knees can be together or apart on the outer edges. And just let your forehead drop to the mat. Find your peace, find your zen. Just start to melt into this pose and come into this class. Just any thoughts that you were having before class, kind of letting those go for now, putting them to the side. Hold space for yourself today. And start to roll your head from side to side, massaging your forehead on the mat. And then stay here, or you can walk your hands over towards the right corner of your mat, pulling back on that left hip crease and feeling the length in your left side body. Bring it back to center. Take a deep breath. And then we'll go over to the left side, pulling back on the right hip crease. Back to center. And press up into a tabletop on all fours. Start in the neutral spine and then start moving through cat-cow. On an inhale, dropping your belly, lifting your head. On an exhale, coming into cat, arching your spine, tucking your tailbone. Bring it back to neutral. And just do this a few more times, following your breath. I used to teach the 45-minute power flow when I was living in Cincinnati last year. So it's become one of my favorite classes to teach. I've gotten into a rhythm with it. And it's been a while since I've actually done the sequence myself, so I'm excited to walk you through it today. And I'll give some modifications as needed as well. But feel free to take your own modifications and just work your way through this class, doing what you can do. Back to a neutral. Send that right hand forward. Left foot goes back. The left foot can be resting on the mat as well. And on an inhale, bring your knee to your elbow. Exhale, send it out. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, out. Inhale, in. Exhale, out. Stay here. You can take a bind, grabbing your left foot with your right hand. Woo! I don't have the best balance today, and that's okay. Back to neutral. One more cat-cow. And then press up into your downward facing dog. Walk the dog. Pedal your feet. Start to get comfortable. It's a little chilly today, so I'm wearing socks, but my feet are sliding, so I might have to take those off. A little windy too. Hopefully the microphone's able to block out that sound, but just stay in your downward facing dog. Find your breath. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then grab your hands to your elbows, ragdoll. Let gravity do the work. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe a slight bend in your knees, rocking from side to side. your hands fall to the mat. And on a slow inhale, slowly roll all the way up to standing. Your chin comes up last. Take your time. Up to neutral mountain, low mountain. And then inhale, arms up overhead. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale. And then an option to join me in a vibration of Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, high plank. Drop your knees lower all the way down to the mat. Take 2 cobras. Keeping your glutes relaxed, your glutes. Press back into a child's pose. Downward facing dog. Step or float your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, high plank. Drop your knees, lower all the way down. 2 more cobras. You can also put your hands to your sides and drop one shoulder at a time for your cobras, taking a little twist. Press back, child's pose. Downward facing dog. High plank. Chaturanga, low plank. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That was our first vinyasa of the class, and we'll be doing multiple. But you do not have to do the full vinyasa each time. You can go straight to downward facing dog or do other variations like what we just did, lowering all the way down to the mat and doing some cobras. Step or float your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, high mountain. Lower into chair pose. Let your right hand go back, gaze follows. Back to chair. Left hand goes back, gaze can follow. Chair. Lift up onto your tippy toes and back down. We'll do this 3 more times. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, vinyasa flow. I honestly might not even do all the vinyasas either. Feeling a little sore today. That's okay. Right leg lifts to the sky, 3-legged dog. Step it through, low lunge, taking a twist. Left hand plants, right arm lifts to the sky. Let that right hand plant, rise up, warrior 1. Ooh. Exhale your arms, vinyasa flow. Left leg lifts. Step it through, low lunge. Take that twist, right hand plants, left arm lifts. Release that hand, step up, warrior 1. Release your hands to the mat and vinyasa flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Take 2 centering breaths here. And then step or float your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose. Lower down into skier. Pulse it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, forward fold, halfway lift, vinyasa flow. Starting to heat up here, build some energy. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Bend and open. Rotate that right ankle, open it up, open it up. Back to three-legged dog. Step that right foot through. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Checking that your front knee isn't caving in and you can still see your big toe. Shoulders relax. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat. Vinyasa flow. Taking my socks off. Starting to get some heat. Left leg lifts. Bend and open. Rotating that left ankle, waking it up. And then step it through. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the arms, vinyasa. Centering breaths. Meet back in downward facing dog. And lift that right leg to the sky. Bend and open. Stay here, you can flip your dog. Back to three-legged dog. Right foot steps through, warrior 1. Pivot that back foot coming into a crescent or a low lunge. Arms stay above you. And bring those hands to heart center. We'll twist to the right. Left elbow coming over that right thigh. Stay here with your hands at your heart or open them up and expand. Back to crescent. Open up warrior 2. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Right arm comes to rest in right thigh. Left hand goes overhead or send it over your head towards the front of the mat. Not putting a lot of weight in this bottom arm, you're just using it to stabilize you. Staying here or take a bind. Keep that front leg bent and strong. And release back to warrior 2. 2 times lift and inhale, straighten that front leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Cartwheel the arms to the mat, vinyasa flow. Left leg lifts. Bend and open. Stay here or flip your dog. Back to center. Left leg still lifted. Step it through. Warrior 1. Pivot the back foot, crescent lunge. Hands come to heart center. Twist left. Tilting your heart towards the sky. Stay here or open. Release back to crescent. Open to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Tilting your heart towards the sky. Stay here, take a bind. Rise back up to warrior two. 2 times lift. Cartwheel the arms, vinyasa. Shift forward into a high plank. Left hand plants, open up side plank. Be strong here. Don't let your body sag. You can stay here or lift that top leg for more of a challenge. Also option to go into wild thing. Back to a side plank. And then make your way to downward facing dog. Vinyasa is optional. Once in down dog, we'll switch sides. So shift forward, high plank. Plant that right hand, side plank. Left hand high. Stay here, bring a little challenge element to it. Whatever's in your practice today, every day looks different. And each side might also look different. Come into wild thing if it's in your practice. Release, meeting back in downward facing dog. Find your breath. Then step or float your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, rise to chair. Lower down to skier. Hands come to heart center. Twist to the right. Stay here, open. Back to skier. Hold it here, inching a little bit lower for 3, 2, 1. Release. Feet come hip width distance apart. Peace fingers to your big toes. Bringing that head closer to the mat. Let it hang heavy. Release any tension you might be holding in your face. Slowly release. Heel toe your feet back together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to chair. Lower to skier. Hands to heart center. Twist to the left. Stay here, open. Release back to skier, staying here again for 3, 2, 1. Release. Heel toe your feet back out, hip width distance. Come into gorilla pose, sliding your hands underneath your feet. And pressing down with your toes. Feeling that pull on your wrists. Again, let your head hang heavy. Awesome. Release. And then take some time here to come into crow pose, Malasana. Work on some inversions, some headstands if you like, handstands. We'll be here for about 5 to 8 breaths. So really just take your time. If there's something that you're working on, this is that space for that now. A fun fact about me is that I actually can't do a handstand or really any inversions beyond like the basic ones. And that's okay. You know, I'm learning. I'm thinking of doing a little series about it where I practice like a handstand every day, and that way you're learning and growing with me too. But yeah, it just goes to show that not all yoga teachers have to have this like perfect flexibility and be like yoga journal perfect. We're all different. We all have different bodies and different things that work for us. Wherever you're at, slowly just come out of whatever pose that you're in. Take your time. Use your breaths to guide you out of any inversions. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. So you can take a vinyasa to get there or just go straight there. Once in down dog, you're going to take 2 deep breaths. And then step or float your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, high mountain. Low mountain. We're going to do some balancing poses. Sorry. So first, we're going to come into eagle pose. So really grounding down on your left foot. We're going to lift our right foot high up and over our left. And then your right arm goes under. Ooh, I'm getting cold again. You can stay here elevated like I am, or start to lower, but keep your spine straight and upright. You can use your other foot to balance you too. Rise back up, release, and just shake it out a little bit. We'll switch sides. Eagle on the left side. Left leg goes over. Left arm under. Staying here, lowering, lowering. Finding your drishti or your gaze. I'm looking at a Joshua tree. I can't believe I'm here. Don't be too jealous. Release. Give it a little shaky, shaky. Get out of your system. Come into tree pose. Maybe it's better if I face you. Bring your right foot up and into your inner thigh. You can also be here on the inside of your calf, or even if you need some stability, right here with your toe on the ground. And again, finding your gaze, finding your drishti, something you can focus on. My leggings are a little slick, actually. I don't think I can do it up there. Bring your hands to heart center. Hands can stay at heart center, or you can grow your tree. Inhale, arms up. Maybe taking a small back bend. And release. Shake it out. We'll switch sides. Each side can look different here. Perfectly okay. It's quite windy. Inhale your hands to your heart. And stay or grow your tree. Exhale, release. Shake it out. And then inhale your arms up to the sky, high mountain. Exhale, swan dive, let it all go. Low mountain. Inhale, halfway lift, and then vinyasa flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Take 2 centering breaths for yourself. Noticing your breath. And if it's a little faster or quicker than when we started class, building up that heat. Lift your right leg high. Step it through. Low lunge, we'll take that twist again. So your left hand plants, right arm lifts. Release to the mat. And then standing leg split, left leg goes high. Bring your hands to heart center. Open up into a half moon. You can use a block here to stable you. Keeping this top leg firm and lifted, keeping it strong. It's like you're in between 2 different panes of glass. I heard that from one of my teachers. I thought it resonated well. Release to a standing split. Release that leg outside of your right, pinky toes touch, and forward fold. Unwind your feet. And we'll take that on the other side. Right leg lift, standing leg split. Hands to heart center. Open up to a half moon. Release the right hand, standing leg split. Sending that right foot high, high, high. And then releasing it outside the left. Forward fold. Unwind your feeties. Inhale, halfway lift, and vinyasa flow. Two centering breaths. Right leg lifts. Step it through. Rise to your warrior one. Open into warrior two. Reverse warrior. And then straighten that front leg. Cartwheel the arms forward, coming into a triangle pose. A block can be useful here too. Gaze up to the sky, left hand up to the sky. Saying hello to the sun and the stars. Rise back up into a warrior two. Pivot this front foot so both of your feet are parallel to the short edges of the mat. You can clasp your hands behind your back, do your hands to your elbows. Inhale, look up, exhale, fold. Hands release. Flip your palms, walk them in between your legs, bringing the crown of your head closer to the mat, seeing how far you can reach. Start to bring it back. Peace fingers to big toes. And then hands on your hips. Slowly hinge back up. We'll rotate forward for pyramid pose. So left foot steps up and out, about a 45-degree angle to your front foot. Legs are straight. Don't lock your knees. Hands release. You can use a block if you can't reach all the way down. Stay here, take a twist. Left hand grabs that right foot, right arm lifts. Exhale, release. Bring the left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Vinyasa flow. Find your breath. And then left leg lifts. Step it through, low lunge. We'll take a twist. Right hand plants, left arm lifts. Release to the mat. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Triangle pose, hinging forward, straightening that front leg. Whole body is engaged here, pressing firmly into your back foot. Gently release and rise back up into a warrior two. And then straighten that front leg, pivot that foot parallel to the short edges. We'll do this again, clasping your hands or hands to your elbows. Or reverse prayer, inhale, look up, exhale, fold. Hands release. We'll take a twist, left hand plants, right arm reaches. Release and switch sides, right hand plants, left arm reaches. And release. Hands come to your hips, rise back up. Pyramid pose on the opposite side. So right foot is back now. You might be feeling a sensation in the back of your legs. Stay here, take a twist. Right hand grabs left foot, left arm reaches. Release. Forward fold. High mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Vinyasa flow. Shift forward onto the mat, or into high plank, excuse me. And then lower down on the count of three all the way down. 3, 2, 1. You're going to come up into Cobra, taking it 3 times. Release her head to the mat. Roll it around, give it a little massage. And then your forearms come to the mat, rise up for Sphinx pose. Elbows are in line with your shoulders here. Gaze is just in front of you. Keep your neck in line with your spine. Stay here. You can take seal pose, placing your hands on the outer edges of your mat and lifting up. A nice little release for the lower back. Release the forehead to the mat. And then we'll place our arms out to a T, coming into a scorpion pose. Right cheek comes down to rest on the mat, and then your left leg flips over for a twist. Back to center. Switch sides, left cheek falls to the mat, and right leg goes over. Back to center. Put your palms by your shoulders and press back into a child's pose. Gently come into a tabletop and then swing your legs around. So you're sitting on your bum, feet are planted on the mat. We'll take bridges, lower your back down. Your feet are firmly planted here. Try to bring them as close to your bum as you can. And then inhale, lift to a bridge, squeezing with your thighs, trying to keep your glutes relaxed, but it's normal if they're squeezed as well. You can clasp your hands underneath your back for this, for a little bit more support and lift. And exhale, release. Let your legs fall from side to side. We'll rise up again. Feet are planted. Inhale, lift. Gently lower down and release. An option to windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Come back to neutral and prepare again to lift up for bridge, or your option to lift up into your full wheel, placing your hands next to your head and pressing up from your hips. Release, lowering back down onto the mat. Walking your feet out wide and letting your knees fall in together. Then coming into reclined butterfly, placing the soles of your feet together and letting your knees fall out wide. Option to place a hand on your belly and a hand on your chest, feeling your breath rise and fall. Bring the knees back together, and then send the legs up long. Coming into your legs up the wall pose. Then bring your hands down by your sides, and we'll lower down our right leg to a hover. Bring it back up, left leg comes down to a hover, and continue to switch for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side, massaging that lower back. Then send the legs up long again. And then lowering them down a third, another third, down to a hover and hold here. You can look up at your toes. Bring your feet back up. 1/3. Lower another third. Lower to a hover. Circle your toes back up one more time. 1/3, 2/3. Hover and hold. Staying in the hover, start flutter kicks. Hug your knees back into your chest. Gently rock from side to side. And then come into heel taps, tapping your left heel and then your right heel, shifting from side to side. Extend your legs long and come into a full body stretch, arms extending up over your head, pointing your toes. And then gently press yourself up into a comfortable seat, seated staff, legs go out straight in front of you. Inhale your arms up overhead and exhale, fold forward, grabbing your toes with your hands, or your hands can rest on your shins, your ankles, or anywhere along your legs. Rising back up. And then bringing your right leg out to the side, left leg tucks in. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Slowly rise back up. Switching sides. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Release. Swing your legs around. We'll come into a downward facing dog to come into pigeon. Left leg lifts. Bring your knee to your elbow and then release. You can use a block here for some support right underneath your butt. You can also have a block in front of you. Just release and melt into the mat, sending breath to any resistance you might be feeling in your hips. It's going to be a difficult pose. Gently release, using your hands to push you back up, switching sides, moving through a transition in downward facing dog. Left leg goes high, knee to elbow, release. One side might look different than the other. Come out of your pigeon, tucking your back toe, pressing up with your hands, and then swinging your legs around, making your way onto your back. Once you come all the way onto your back, extend your legs long for another full body stretch. Arms go up overhead. Exhale, come into happy baby. Hands grabbing the outer edges of your feet and pulling your knees in towards your armpits, maybe rocking from side to side, kicking one foot up into the air and then the other. And then finally, coming into our last pose of the practice, corpse pose or shavasana, palms facing upward and just relaxing and melting into this final pose. If you're ready to join me, slowly start to bring some movement back into your body, rocking your head from side to side on the mat, wiggling your fingers and your toes. And then gently rolling on to your favorite side, giving yourself a hug and showing gratitude for yourself for showing up for today's practice. Using your hand to push yourself up into a seated position, keeping your eyes closed. And inhale your arms up overhead to heart center. We'll end this practice with another centering Om on an inhale. Om. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. With grace and gratitude, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. It's been wonderful teaching in such a beautiful space, and I hope to bring some more content to you. Hopefully this practice made you feel a little lighter and ready to take on your day. Much love to you. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you next time.